If you are new to this channel, subscribe, like, follow, share. Any questions up to there? We are very happy to be here for this wonderful evening. We're going to read the word. If you're new to this channel, subscribe to me where you're watching me from. And the Lord said to Aaron, you and your sons and your family are to bear the responsibilities. Okay, we've already read that. And the Lord said to Aaron, I myself have charge of the offerings presented to me, all the holy offerings. The Israelites gave me a gift to you and your sons as your portion, your perpetual share. I think we have read that. We have read that, right? Yeah. Yeah, I've read that. You must not redeem the firstborn of an ox, a sheep, or a goat. They are holy. Splash their blood against the altar and burn their fat as a food offering, an aroma pleasing to the Lord. Their meat is to be yours, just as the breast of the wave offering. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Tell me where you're watching me from. Their meat is to be yours, just as the breast of the wave offering and the right thigh are yours. Whatever is set aside from the holy offerings the Israelites presented to the Lord, I give to you and your sons and daughters as your perpetual share. It is an everlasting covenant of salt before the Lord for both of you and your offspring. The Lord said to Aaron, you will have no inheritance in their land, nor will you have any share among them. I am your share and your inheritance among the Israelites. If you're new to this channel, subscribe, comment, tell me where you're watching me from. We have only 60 days to read the scripture. I hope that by that time we'll have covered the book of Numbers. I know we'll have covered the book of Numbers by then. We're in chapter 20. There are just a few left. So I give to the Levites all the tithes in Israel as their inheritance in return for the work they do while serving at the tent of meeting. From now on, the Israelites must not go near the tent of meeting, or they will hear the consequences of their sins and will die. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Tell me where you're watching me from. Any questions up to there? Any questions up to there? It is the Levites who are to do the work at the tent of meeting and bear the responsibility for any offenses they commit against it. The Levites. It's a lasting ordinance for the generations to come. They will receive no inheritance among the Israelites. Instead, I give to the Levites as their inheritance the tithes that the Israelites present as an offering to the Lord. That is why I said concerning them, they will have no inheritance among the Israelites. Any questions up to that? We're reading the book of Numbers, so don't worry. We'll be reading, and I know that we'll continue to grow in the word. The Lord said to Moses, speak to the Levites and say to them, when you receive from the Israelites the tithe I give you as inheritance, you must present a tenth of that tithe as the Lord's offering. Your offering will be reckoned to you as grain from the threshing floor, or juice from the winepress. In this way, you will present an offering to the Lord from all the tithes you receive from the Israelites. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. From these tithes, you must give the Lord's portion to Aaron the priest. You must present as the Lord's portion the best and holiest parts of everything given to you. Say to the Levites, when you present the best part, it will be reckoned to you as the product of the threshing floor or the winepress. Oh, wonderful. This is wonderful. Any questions up to that? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Let me do some exercises here. I don't want to feel warm, cold. I want to just, any question up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Tell me where you're watching me from. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Any questions up to there? Any questions up to there? Any questions up to there? Any questions? I tell people, hii ndio msema kweli. Msema kweli. Msema kweli. Msema kweli. Hiyo itwangwa msema kweli. Any questions up to there? I said, when I read, how many stretches I do? My target is the Lord said to Moses, speak to the Levites and say to them, when you receive from the Israelites the tithe I give you as an inheritance, you must present a tenth of that tithe as the Lord's offering. Your offering will be reckoned to you as grain from the threshing floor, or juice from the winepress. In this way, you also will present an offering to the Lord, the tithes you receive from the Israelites. From these tithes, you must give the Lord's portion to Aaron, the priest. You must present as the Lord's portion the best and holiest part of everything given to you. Say to the Levites, when you present the best part, it will be reckoned as the product of the threshing floor or the winepress. Any questions up to there? It's around 3 in the 3 o'clock in the morning. I want to chase away the colds. Chase away the colds. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Subscribe and comment. When you exercise, I came to realize it heats up the body. So that way you don't feel cold. Do you understand that kind of homeostasis in science? It was called homeostasis. Any questions up to there? Because if you stream, night, like here, you cannot put on the what? You cannot use a charcoal burner or stuff like that, right? Yeah. Say to the Levites, you must present the best part. Okay, we've read that. You and your household may eat the rest of it anywhere, for it is your wages for your work at the tent of the meeting. By presenting the best part of it, you will not be guilty in this manner. Then you will not defile the holy offerings of the Israelites, and you will not die. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe, comment, tell me where you're watching me from. Tell me where you're watching me from. Tell me where you're watching me from. Wow. Yes, trust me. Oh my good Lord. Any questions? You can ask me your questions as we continue. You know, it's one of those funny things that I like doing. Push-ups, you know, and reading. Always do those things, and you will feel good, you know. Because I came to hear somebody told me, in case you feel tired, you don't go to sleep. You could do exercises. So that's once your body starts responding to the exercises that you're doing, that way you will not feel tired. You do the exact opposite. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, this is the requirement of the law that the Lord has commanded. Tell the Israelites to bring you a red heifer without defect or blemish, and that has never been under a yoke. Give it to Eleazar. It is to be taken outside the camp and slaughtered in its presence. Then Eleazar the priest is to take some of its blood on its finger and sprinkle it seven times towards the front of the tent of meeting. Welcome to this channel. We are in Numbers chapter 19, verses 4. Come, my love visitors. You can see somebody called Mons. Welcome to this live stream, and I'm so happy that we are reading together, and I want us to exercise that, to stretch our minds, and I hope that in that process we'll not only build a repository of knowledge, but also will build our faith, because those are things to be built. If somebody never told you, a reputation is something you build, your faith, you build it, your resilience, you build, you work on your talents. Those are things that you build. You build your inner man. All right? So you have to understand some of the things. Sometimes you have to build your patience. Those are things that you're building. So here we are building on our knowledge of the scripture. All right? And also we'll be building our vocabulary. Because the more you read the scripture, the more you grow in your vocabulary. Any questions up to there? You know, in Kenya right now, you tell somebody to sit and read for 3 hours. It's like, it's like you have taken them to prison. If you tell somebody, sit down for 3 hours and read, it is like you have taken them to committing maximum prison. But, at least it's something that you have to train yourself so that it becomes very easy for you to understand things, even things that are might seem difficult, but if you have the patience to learn, in time you will be knowledgeable. Are we together? If you have the patience, to collect knowledge, to connect events, you will grow in the word. Any questions up to there? Any questions? You can ask me your questions. Any questions up to there? When I started streaming, I came to realize you cannot say, I am too tired. In fact, I've never had, these people saying, people hosting news saying, hey, today I'm tired. Those are the unwritten rules. You cannot say that. You cannot say, I'm tired. You cannot say, I'm not feeling well. You can just say that we'll be back here in a moment. Oof. Oof. Oh. My God. Oh my God. Oh. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Love this. Any questions? Oh, by the way, let me show you something. We are in the season of mangoes. You see this? In the season of mangoes. You become my friend. Maybe we're going to eat mangoes together. Any questions up there? Any questions? Then Eliezer the priest is to take some of its blood on his face. Okay, we're back. All right. Then Eliezer the priest is to take some of its blood on its finger and sprinkle it 7 times towards the front of the tent of meeting, while he watches the heifer is to be burned, its hide, flesh, blood, and intestines. The priest is to take cedar wood, hyssop, and scarlet wool and throw them onto the burning heifer. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this live stream. I'm very happy this evening to be here, and it's very interesting to read. I want us to build a reputation, to build that muscle, because it's a muscle. It's a muscle that you have to build. It's a muscle. These are things that you are improving. You work on such things. You work on yourself, and before long, you're going to do stuff. You're going to do things that seem impossible. But some people will say you're crafty. But the truth is that you have strengthened your muscles. You have worked on yourself. You see, it's like losing weight. You have to declutter some of the things that are not important to you. And of course, people will say, you are using, you consulted witch doctors and stuff like that. But that is not true. The truth is you just settled down and started working on some of the things that were not aligned to your purpose. Are we together? So just align yourself to your purpose, all right? Don't start wasting time and energy together. You just have to align yourself to the goal. All right. For example, if you're a striker, if you're playing football and you're a striker has to align himself with the other how others are playing. A striker cannot be a defender at the same time, or a goalkeeper cannot be a striker. Because if you're a goalkeeper and you want to strike at the same time, it means that the goal is open. So it means that whatever you're doing in the field is not aligned to the goals and aspirations of the team, because you're a goalkeeper but you want to be a midfielder at the same time. So it means that you have left your post open and anyone can score from any distance, right? So it means that people have to understand their purpose, and you align yourself and play your part to the best of your ability, right? Yes, because now if you start meddling, you start minding your business that is not your business, then it means that something will be left unattended. Are we together? Yes. Have we ever understood that? Because right now, my purpose here is to read the word with you. But now if I start talking about things that are not even related to why I'm here, then I will be throwing my energy away. I'll be wasting my resources. And that is what I'm trying to avoid. I don't want to waste my resources on things that are not profitable in nature. Are we together? Yes, I don't want to waste my resources. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, this is the requirement. That one we have read. In the first month, the whole Israelite community arrived at the desert of Zin, and they stayed at Kadesh, where Miriam died and was buried. So Miriam here was the first one to die in the wilderness, in a place called Kadesh Barnea. Now there was no water for the community, and the people gathered in opposition to Moses and Aaron. Remember, in the book of Numbers, chapter 11, we talked about them quarreling. In fact, the book of Numbers is about quarreling, if you need to know. The book of Numbers is about a quarreling nation, a grumbling nation, because there was nothing that they did not quarrel about. Now, in Numbers chapter 11, they quarreled and grumbled against Moses. They told him that they wanted meat in the middle of the desert, and God provided the meat. Now, then we learned about when the spies came, they quarreled again. And, that disqualified everybody from stepping into the promised land, because they were grumbling. They were contesting and contending against Moses. Here we have found people like Dathan and Korah and Abiram. They were just quarreling and grumbling. The book of Numbers is a very, very sensitive book, because it tells you that complaining, grumbling, quarreling, spiritually, you will be misaligned with your purpose. If for example, like right now, you go somewhere and you have a reputation of quarreling every day, you have a reputation of complaining, you are not satisfied, you are always demanding, that in itself is you're spiritually misaligned. You're quarreling, you're complaining, you're not, your star is far from shining, because now you are always complaining. You see here Joshua in the book of Numbers, Leviticus, Exodus, was accompanying Moses everywhere he went. Everywhere he went. He even fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. But he never quarreled. When Joshua went to spy in the promised land, he never quarreled. He never grumbled, no matter the situation, no matter the hardship. Because remember here, when they lacked water, even Moses was lacking water. He was not exempted. Was Moses exempted? He was not exempted. And when they were lacking food, Moses was also lacking food. He was not exempted. All these challenges, Moses was not exempted from them. He went through the hardship like everybody else. He was not exempted, even for one day. Even Joshua was not exempted. But Miriam joined the band of grumbling and complaining about Moses. She got leprosy in the process, and here in Numbers chapter 20, she died in the wilderness. Are we together? So now there was no water for the community, and the people gathered in opposition to Moses and Aaron. Quarreled with Moses and said, "If only we had died when our brothers fell dead before the Lord. Why did you bring the Lord's community into this wilderness, that we and our livestock should die here? Why did you bring us up out of Egypt to this terrible place?" Any questions up to there? It has no corn or figs, grapevines or pomegranates, and there's no water to drink. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe, comment, tell me where you're watching me from. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, let's continue. It's a very interesting. It's a very interesting piece of equipment. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe, comment. We have been streaming for 2 hours now. I don't want us to go from here. I want us to study until we finish, and then we will be free to do something else. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Tell me where you're watching me from. They quarreled with Moses and said, "If only we had died when our brothers fell dead before the Lord. Why did you bring the Lord's community into this wilderness, that we and our livestock should die here? Why did you bring us up out of Egypt to this terrible place? It has no corn or figs or grapevines or pomegranates, and there is no water to drink." Moses and Aaron went from the assembly to the entrance to the tent of meeting and fell face down, and the glory of the Lord appeared to them. The Lord said to Moses, "Take the staff, and you and your brother Aaron gather the assembly together. Speak to that rock before their eyes." He was to speak to a rock. "Speak to that rock before their eyes, and it will pour out its water. You will bring water out of the rock for the community, so that they and their livestock can drink." So Moses took the staff from the Lord's presence, just as he had commanded him. He and Aaron gathered the assembly together in front of the rock. And Moses said to them, "Listen, you rebels, must we bring you water out of this rock?" Then Moses raised his arm and struck the rock twice with his staff. Water gushed out, and the community and their livestock drank. But the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "Because you did not trust in me enough to honor me as holy in the sight of the Israelites, you will not bring this community into the land I give them." In the waters of Meribah, where the Israelites quarreled with the Lord and where he was proved. These were the waters of Meribah. So remember, there are waters of Mara, those were bitter waters. The water of Rephidim, the Rephidim is the rock where they met with the Amalekites. Now here's the third instance, that is the waters of Meribah. Any questions up to there? Now Moses sent messengers from Kadesh to the king of Edom, saying, "This is what your brother Israel, you know about the hardships that they came on us. Our ancestors went down into Egypt, and we lived there many years. The Egyptians ill-treated us and our ancestors, but when we cried out to the Lord, he heard our cry and sent an angel and brought us out of Egypt. Now we are here at Kadesh, a town on the edge of your territory. Please let us pass through your country. We will go through any field. We will not go through any field." So he was requesting, "We will not go through any field or vineyard or drink water from any well. We will travel along the king's highway and not turn to the right or left until we have passed through your territory." The king of Edom. But Edom answered, "You may not pass through here. If you try, we will march out and attack you with the sword." Then the Israelites replied, "We will go along the main road, and if we and our livestock drink any of your water, we will pay for it. We only want to pass through on foot, nothing else." Again, they answered, "You may not pass through." Then Edom came out against them with a large and powerful enemy, since Edom refused to let them go through their territory. Israel turned away from them. The king of Edom, or the Edomites, that is Edom, the father of the Edomites. And I think it was Esau who was the father of Edomites. So it was the rivalry of Esau and the rivalry of Esau and Jacob played out again here in Numbers 20. And the king of Edom told them, "You may not pass through." Then Edom came out against them with a large and powerful enemy. Since Edom refused to let them go through their territory, Israel turned away from them. The death of Aaron. The whole Israel community set out from Kadesh and came to Mount Hor. At Mount Hor, near the border of Edom, the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "Aaron will be gathered to his people. He will not enter the land I give the Israelites, because both of you rebelled against my command at the waters of Meribah." That was the only mistake Aaron did. Also, Aaron gathered the earrings of the Israelites and made a golden calf, because he was not firm. He refused. He just gathered all the gold articles. He refused. In fact, he agreed. He was not firm. And he was not strong enough to say no to the people when they demanded a golden calf. He was not firm enough. Are we together? So here, he called Aaron and his son Eleazar and take them up Mount Hor, remove Aaron's garments and put them on his son Eleazar, for Aaron will be gathered to his people and he will die there. Moses did as the Lord commanded. He went up Mount Hor in the sight of the whole community. Moses removed Aaron's garments and put them on his son Eleazar, and Aaron died there on top of the mountain. Then Moses and Eleazar came down from the mountain, and when the whole community learned that Aaron had died, all the Israelites mourned him for 30 days. So here at Numbers 20, it was the death of Aaron. When the Canaanite king of Arad, who lived in the Negev, heard that Israelites was coming along the road of Atharim, he attacked the Israelites and captured some of them. When Israel made this vow to the Lord, if you deliver these people into our hands, we will totally destroy their cities. The Lord listened to their plea and gave the Canaanites over to them. They completely destroyed them and their towns, so the place was called Homar. Now, here for the first time, the bronze snake. They traveled from Mount Hor along the route to the Red Sea to go around Edom. But the people grew impatient on the way. They spoke against God and against Moses. They said, "Why have you brought us out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? There is no bread, there is no water, and we detest this miserable food." Then the Lord sent venomous snakes among them. They bit the people, and many Israelites died. The people came to Moses and said, "We sinned when we spoke against the Lord and against you. Pray that the Lord will take the snakes away from us." So Moses prayed for the people. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. So the Lord said to Moses, "Make a snake and put it on a pole. Anyone who is bitten can look at it and live." So Moses made a bronze snake and put it on the pole. Then when anyone was bitten by a snake and looked at the bronze snake, they lived. Any questions after there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. The Israelites moved on and camped at Oboth. When they set out from Oboth and camped in Abarim in the wilderness that faces Moab towards the sunrise, from there they moved on and camped on Zered Valley. They set out from there and camped alongside the Arnon, which is in the wilderness extending into the Amorite territory. The Arnon is the border of Moab, between Moab and Amorites. Any questions? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Tell me where you're watching me from, and I will be more than happy to host you. This is why the book of the walls of the Lord says, Zahib in Sufa and the ravines, the Ammon and the slopes of the ravines that lead to the settlement of Ar and lie along the border of Moab. From there, they continued on to Beer, the well where gather the people together, and I will give them water. Then Israel sang this song, "Spring up, O well, sing about it, about the well that the prince dug, and the nobles of the people sank, the nobles of scepters and staffs." Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe. Hey. questions? I will be here in a minute. Yes. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, let us continue reading. I was just eating here my supper. Any question? Any question? I was eating supper. Any questions up to there? Any questions? So here we are learning about the death of Aaron and Miriam. Any questions? At chapter 21, they were attacked by snakes. Very, very interesting story. That bronze snake, if somebody asks you what is its name, it's called Nehushtan. Very interesting name, Nehushtan. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. I'm having ugali. Any questions up to there? Any questions up to there? Let's continue. Just having dinner. Tell me where you're watching me from. I'll continue reading. Tell me where you're watching me from. Any questions? So So they said, spring up, O well, sing about it, about the well that the princes dug, that the nobles of the people sank, the nobles with scepters and staffs. Any questions?